All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to JDT TV. I'm your host today, Josh Deming, and we are here to break down the final 26-player Copa America roster, which I have had a shocker. I literally didn't even I looked through the roster quickly, but I didn't even recognize that Ike Ugbo was the player that's left out. And I literally put up a tweet that said Jason Russell-Rowe was the one that was left off because I was just so shocked to see that Ugbo was left off, and I don't know. I don't understand it. I'm a little shocked right now. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section if you agree with that or not. I'm literally just lost for words right now. But all right, let's get the roster up. I'm flabbergasted that Ugbo was left out. We talked about the one issue I've noticed the most with Jesse Marsh's two first matches was the front two, specifically Kyle Larin. And I just feel like Ike Ugbo could have been the guy to do it. Maybe it's Jason Russell-Rowe, though. Maybe that's the one that Jesse Marsh is like, all right, this is the opportunity to potentially replace a Kyle Larin up front. I just think with what Ugbo did at the end of the season with Sheffield Wednesday, the amount of goals he scored, saving them from relegation, it just seems incredibly harsh. Am I crazy? I don't know. Am I crazy? Let me know. Who would you guys have left? Who do you guys would have left off this roster? And let me just share my screen. I'm going to get it up right now. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm at a loss for words. But we'll go through the roster right now. It's almost, like I said, it's almost a perfect roster. It's pretty much what I would have wanted to see. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's get some comments. If you're joining us today, be sure to drop a like on the stream. Get your guys' thoughts in. There's absolutely no reason Ugbo should have missed on Copa unless he's injured. Curious to see if that's the reason. I don't know. He didn't play a single minute in the two friendlies. I think that speaks volume of, what Jesse was looking at. I thought it was very interesting that Brim came on in the 56th minute in the Netherlands match, along with Zator, just for both of those players to be sent home. If it's an injury, I 100% understand. But I don't know. I'm just very torn on how I feel about this. I felt like Ugbo really is a player that fits Jesse's system. I mean, he's in much better form than Kyle Larin. He's a better finisher, in my opinion. And I thought he would be the guy to push someone like Kyle Larin for that starting spot. I also absolutely love Jason Russell-Rowe. I think I think he deserves to be on this roster as well. I personally thought that Tanny was going to be the one left off. Now Tanny is a dual nat. You kind of get to hit that. So let's go through the roster one by one. We'll go through it. Get your guys' thoughts and comments in, and give me your opinion on what you think the roster is. Thoughts on the final roster. Because, yeah, I don't know. Larin over Ugbo every day in a Canada jersey. Yeah, I mean, watching him at Mallorca this season was very frustrating. He's just not a player in form. And the two first matches under Jesse Marsh, it just doesn't look like he fits his system. On top of that, he's very low in form, low in confidence, low in form. However, he is our all-time leading goal scorer, so it's hard to go against that. But let's take a look at the final 26-player Copa America roster. So we got Dane St. Clair. No surprise, Alistair Johnson comes in, Luc de Fougerolles as well. There's a lot of debate that maybe he was the player to be sacrificed. However, I agree on keeping him for a couple different reasons. Number one, I mean, he could be our future at the center back position. I think a tournament like this, in this setting with, going through the opportunity, even though if he doesn't feature at Argentina, just to be there and learn from this experience will be so important for this player. It could potentially impact him going back to Fulham, maybe getting a loan move somewhere. It could, I think it's a very good thing to keep him. On top of that, with 26 players, we only have 5 center backs. We have Bombito Cornelius, who will be our starting pair. We have Kamal Miller, who I think Jesse trusts to come in. And then we have Kyle Hebert and Luc de Fougerolles, who I honestly don't know who would be trusted more. I'm assuming Hebert would. So, I mean, 5 center backs and 26-player roster makes sense. So I'm glad that Luc's there. Very happy for him. And if we get to see him get some minutes at the Copa America, it would be pretty cool. He was a dual nat. He's not anymore. He's solidified. going to a major tournament like this. So that's fantastic. We got Kamal Miller, Kyle Hebert, like I mentioned, no surprises there. Sam Piet, although a lot of you guys didn't like that, but there's no way Piet wasn't coming. You can put the argument of, I want to see younger, I want to see a Laturi or even a Frazier, but I personally think that Piet's in better form than both of those players, and I just think with his leadership and what he can bring to this national team, I'd prefer him over those two, although I can understand the argument. We have almost no sixes in our pool right now, so, if something happens to Eustachio or you need some defensive stability late in the match, Piet is a good option. I can see the argument for like a Laturi, but like I said, I really didn't see it. Eustachio, Kone, Laren, David's rocking the 10. Theo Bair, one of the players that benefited from this. We're going to have 5 strikers on this roster with Ike Ugbo going out. It's going to be Jonathan David, Kyle Laren, Theo Bair, Jason Russell-Rowe, and Tani Oluwaseyi. So 5 strikers. I think it's better than 6. Jason Russell-Rowe gets to number 12. Derek Cornelius, Jacob Schaffelberg. Our guy comes in. Bombito, Crapeau, Buchanan, McGill, Davies, Hoylett loses his number 10 and takes on number 20, which I found interesting. Osorio, Larea, Miller, Chouanier, Oluwaseyi, and Ali Ahmed. Very excited Ali Ahmed got in this squad. I think he absolutely deserves it. I know a lot of you guys do as well. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just very, very surprised that Ugbo was sacrificed. I watched him a lot at the tail end of last season when he made that move to Sheffield Wednesday. He got his confidence back. He got his swagger back. He can play in Marsh's system. So, if it's injury, that makes sense. But, maybe it's attitude. There's been some reports around Ugbo's attitude and his motivation. So maybe, I don't know. I'm going to join the presser later today and see what I can try to get out of Jesse, but I'm very, very curious. Someone's going to ask the question. But let's get some of you guys' thoughts. If you're just joining us today, the final roster is here, our 26 player roster heading to Copa America. Drop a like on the stream and let's get into the chat, because I'm just going to scroll this back up top, but I don't know. I was pretty shocked. I got my Twitter's blown up right now. I just said I don't get it. And it looks like it looks like a lot of people online are pretty upset as well. I just feel like Ugbo does. I think Ugbo's the perfect fit for Marsh's system. That's what I'm so shocked about. I'll bring up. I don't know. I'm confused. But let's go through the chat. I want to talk with you guys. You can talk about Ugbo. You can talk about whatever you guys want. You can go towards the end of the stream to build a kind of a starting 11. Although I'm pretty confident it's going to be the exact same starting 11 that Jesse played against France. That's what it's going to be. But get your guys' thoughts in. There's absolutely no reason Ugbo should have missed Copa unless he's injured, and I agree. Got a sad face for Ugbo. Really wanted to see Ugbo make an appearance during the friendlies. I thought, I was talking with Alex, and I said I thought it was very telling that Ugbo didn't play a single minute, but also Bear. I think the fact that Tani got brought into camp almost indicated that Jesse likes something about him and that he was probably going to make this roster. He's a dual nat as well, so he's Canada's. The rise of Tani has been incredible. I've loved following him, his journey over to San Antonio and breaking through with Minnesota. He's scoring for fun. It's not that he doesn't deserve to be on this roster. It almost felt like it came too late. I've had a conversation around it a bunch of times where just like he got hot too late. Like there's no way he's going to beat one of those other 5 strikers. So it just, I don't know. Like I said, it just shocked me. Sucks for Ugbo, but you can only bring so many players. We're deep at the striker position. Like I said, anything I was expecting to get out of Ugbo, I hope now goes to Jason Russell-Rowe. I think Russell-Rowe has had a phenomenal rise right now with the crew. I think that he's a special player. I think that he can play up top with Jonathan David. He can press, he can run, he can hit him from distance as well. He's a very unique profile, and maybe that's what Jesse Marsh decided, that I'd rather a young player like like Russell Rowe instead of Ugbo. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm just, like I said, I'm confused. Larin better than Ugbo, at least in a Canada jersey. That's 100% correct. Yeah, you can't. Kyle Larin is our all-time leading goal scorer, and he deserves a ton of respect for what he's done with his national team. And I'm hoping that he can thrive under Jesse's system. There's a lot of good things that I've learned from watching the first couple matches under Jesse. It's very early, and they are friendly, so everything's with a grain of salt. But my one worry comes a little bit up top, and it's the way that Kyle Larin fits into this system. And he was absolutely invisible for those 2 matches. And I felt like a Russell Rowe, or honestly, any of the other strikers could maybe push Kyle Larin at this point. That's my worry, and I just felt like Ike Ugbo was one of those players. Will Victoria ever wear a Canada jersey again? I doubt it. I think some of those old guards are done now. Victoria, Borjan, obviously Hutch retired. I think those guys they did their duty, and there's time to move on. Hoylett, I thought, was on the bubble, but I mean, he had an incredible run in Scotland with Aberdeen, scoring and assisting for fun. So I have a soft spot for Hoylett. He's one of my first players I followed when I was younger, just because he was one of the better Canadian players. So I'm excited for him to make this roster, and I think he deserves it. I think Hoylett could definitely provide something coming off the bench. He's still got that quality. Pretty pumped for Defougerol. Seems like Marsh really thinks he deserves to be there. Expect him to get a few minutes. I would like to see him get a few minutes too. I'm very curious to see the way he views his center backs. Like I said, the depth in the center back position is not massive, in my opinion. Bombito, Cornelius will lock down the starting role as they should be. That's who I would like to see. Bombito's rise is something that I think is going to be very important for this program, similar to Luke Defougerol, but I just think he's got a couple years to do so. We needed a right-footed center back with speed and someone who can play in Jesse's system, and Bombito was just the perfect fit. Cornelius, I think a lot of us agree, is the better defender versus Miller. I'm excited to see him get rewarded here. And I think the fact that Davies is playing left back and Bombito is his right-footed center back partner, the speed those 2 players provide allows Cornelius just to settle into his game a little bit, because Cornelius isn't known for incredible foot speed, but having that support around him, I think, is going to help Cornelius and help that back line really mesh together. But then after that, like I said, we have Kamal Miller, who I think will be trusted, and then Hebert and Defougerol. I don't know out of those 2 who would get minutes. I would maybe lean towards Hebert, just again because he's older. Jesse spoke about Hebert playing in a similar system. I personally thought he didn't look great coming on for those final 10 or so minutes against France, but I mean, it almost wasn't fair. He pushed him out at left back, and he was taking on Kingsley Coman, who just came on, and it was difficult. So we'll see. Lineup looks good though. It does. The starting 11, we'll go through it, but like I said, I don't think it's going to be any surprise. I think Jesse's got his starting 11 down. I'd imagine maybe a couple tweaks for the second game against Peru, but probably Argentina and Chile will look the exact same, and it'll probably be a very similar starting 11 to the game against France. I think Schaffelberg can be a game breaker, and he'll be key to our success. I love the support. I think Schaffelberg will be one of our most important players coming off the bench. I love Schaff's game. I think that's right or wrong for him. He kind of worked his way into that super sub role, and he's a player that you want to come off the bench with energy, the ability to, kind of like Liam Miller, how they're both just direct. They have no problem running at defenders. They have no problem hitting them from distance. Liam can hit him a little bit different, especially considering he's a right footer on the left side. Liam Miller can do something special, and I think he's one of the biggest players that will thrive in Jesse Marsh's system, along with Bombito. Those are 2 players that stick out to me that are really going to get an opportunity under Jesse Marsh to show what they can do. As for Schaffelberg, like I said, he's an important player to come off the bench. He can go and come on like for Liam Miller, and he can also potentially come on for Tejan. And we've seen what he can do for Canada in the limited time we've really seen Schaffelberg. So I agree. Ugbo has been in really good form. Yeah. Like, honestly, if you were asking me what I would have liked to see, and let me know right now, guys, in the comment section, who would you have left off? If you had to leave off one of these players on this roster to cut it down to 26, who would it have been? Luke Defougerol, because of, maybe he won't actually be used. Would it have been Tanny, Russell Rowe? Would it have been Ugbo, Bear? For me, I probably would have left off Tanny. Just like I said, not that his form for Minnesota doesn't deserve a call up. I just felt the others all had really good moments. David's going to be there. Laren's going to be there. I thought Theo Bair with his season absolutely deserves to be there. And same with Ugbo. I think Ugbo played such a significant part in a very competitive league in the championship, saving Sheffield Wednesday. On top of that, he can press and he can fit Jesse's system. He's a better finisher and is in a better moment right now than Kyle Laren, at least in club form. Did make a lot of sense, and I think Jason Russell Rowe is a very special player. So Tanny, for me, would have been the odd man out. I'm very happy for Tanny, though. I think that his form at Minnesota, obviously got Jesse's attention, and he ended up in this roster. But I just felt like it's a little unfair for Ike Ugbo. I saw some people commenting that if Ugbo, like if you were Ugbo, you would never accept another call up to Canada. Which, I don't know. But let me know, who would you guys have cut? I'm saying Piet. You're not going to cut Piet, guys. There's no way we're going to cut Piet. And even if you did cut Piet, you would need a Fraser, a Laturi coming in anyways. Anyway, like there's no way. I know Piet isn't a lot of viewers' favorite player, but I know I don't mind Piet. I think that he's got a role to play on this team. We're not asking him to start games. Ugbo, I thought could have maybe started games, but maybe I'm just completely out of it. Maybe there was something behind the scenes, or there's an injury that I don't know of, that why I was so high on Ike getting the opportunity. I don't know. It could be attitude, like I said. I don't know. But Piet more than likely will just be a role player coming off the bench. Eustachio Kone will be that midfield duo, but you need someone there. And I don't know. Do you guys trust a Liam Fraser coming on? Would you have trusted a Laturi? Like, for me, I have no problem seeing Piet come off the bench when the time is right. Encouraging, mostly young lineup. Should be fun tournament no matter how we do. Sets us up well for World Cup 2026. Absolutely. This is going to be such a huge opportunity, guys. I'm going to be doing as much content on Copa America as I possibly can. I have a ton of guests line up as well. So, I think I got representation from almost every single nation to come on, and hopefully the next day just to have a day stream to get just talking about the Copa America, talking about Canada, US, Brazil. This is an exciting tournament. It's an exciting time for Canada, for Canadian soccer fans in general, with the Olympics, with our women, and the Copa America for the first time for our men. Some of the best Canadian players we've ever seen. It's an exciting time, and I'm really hopeful that we can do something special here. And I think we have the group and the bracket to maybe do so. Don't want to get too excited, but very confused about it. I'm hoping our new CB pairing can get some good experience and solidify our back line heading into 2025. Well said, Scott, and I agree. But I wanted a decision to be made, and not I can name it right now. This is Jesse Marsh's team, at least in my mind. Crepeau is our starting keeper. Johnston is our right back. Davies, I think, should stay at left back. I think like I said, it makes so much sense with Bombito and then having Cornelius. They complement each other so well. I really, really like that back four, which then allows the front four. Kone's taken a bit of a different role, a lot more defensive responsibility along with Eustachio, and he's proving that he can do it. And we saw the newspapers, a world-class performance from Kone. It's what you want to see. Buchanan and Liam Miller having the opportunity to come in, and then David and Laren up front. And my biggest question mark was with Laren. But I would have no problem starting Russell Rowe. Absolutely not. Russell Rowe and David could be an opportunity as well. And we also have Richie coming on the bench, who could be an option for Johnston. And I think we could maybe see that. In the second match, if you're going to make any tweaks, I could see Larea coming in for Johnston. And then probably maybe a Schaffelberg or Hoylett coming in for Miller. And then probably Russell Rowe coming in for Laren. I see the first and third matches being the same starting 11 and then a little tweak for the middle. But you're going to ask a lot of Kone, Eustachio, David, Davies, Bombito, Cornelius. Those guys are going to get a ton of minutes. What happened to the traction we made with Bulnat, Kolyosho? I think we can almost safely say that Kolyosho is a no-go for right now. Unfortunately, I think Italy has him. I don't know who would be a second choice. I almost had him on for an interview a while back, but he backed out of it. So that was a long time ago, though. That was just that's when he first got brought into camp. So I would have loved to be able to talk with him, But I think he decided that after that he was going to look at, I think Italy started paying attention, and I believe that's where he's going to go. Maybe I'm wrong. I just wouldn't hold our breaths. I wasn't expecting it, but I was low-key hoping a surprise Jebison Coliosis. Yeah, no surprise dual nats. I mean, I don't think Jebison would have deserved to be in this roster anyways. It would have just been to cap tie him. I do hope he one day represents Canada because I think it's an awesome story, but I think that he needs to go to a club where he'll play, he'll stay healthy, he'll score goals, and then I think there's an opportunity because unfortunately for Jebison, I just don't see him ever representing England. So it's basically yes. And I think he's eligible for Jamaica as well. But I think that there's time, and I don't think he deserves to be in this roster as is. Kolyosha would have been phenomenal, but like I mentioned, I don't know. Very nervous about Larin. Can we really trust him in the 9 position after last season? Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about Kyle Larin is no matter where he has been with his club, whether he's at the high of Besiktas and the way that he was scoring at the low of Club Brugge, he always performs for Canada. But I am nervous because this, like I said, I just don't think that was all under John Herdman pretty much. Biello played kind of a similar style, but Jesse Marsch is very different. And so far, like I said, my biggest worry is with Kyle Larin just fitting the way that this team plays. The tie against France is one of the best results in Canadian men's national team history. It's up there. It's surprising. It's a friendly. Like I said, you got to take it with a grain of salt, but it's a 0-0 draw against France. I will take that all day long. Congrats on the wedding too. Thank you. Got married last weekend, and now get to relax a little bit, not doing the honeymoon for a few months, and enjoy the summer and enjoy Copa America, and hopefully give a lot of great content for you guys and be able to chat with you. Hopefully quite a bit. Like I said, I'm planning on doing quite a few streams and the previews, 5 takeaways. I got a lot of guests lined up for Copa America, so there should be a lot of fun content coming up for you guys. Who's left off the roster? It was Ike Ugbo. I like Schaffelberg's speed. He's got some wheels. He does, and it's important. Coming off the bench. Osorio is on the list. So here's sorry guys, I can't fit it all on the screen, but Osorio is on here. There was only one player that was left off. Brim and Zator were sent home. Russell Rowe and Ahmed came in, and then they had to cut one other player, and they cut Ike Ugbo. So we'll leave it down here. So Tanny took on 25. Ali's got 26. Osorio's still 21. Junior took 20 and gave David 10, which kind of like a little passing of the guard there. I got a ton of notifications on Ike Ugbo. I don't understand it. I don't understand why he's not there. It makes no sense to me. Congrats on the weddings, Josh. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I agree. Ahmed could replace Piet. Ali's not a number 6 really. We can see him play out wide. Like he can play in a lot of different roles: left back, right back, wing backs, right, left, midfield. He can play as an 8. He can play a little further at the park. We haven't really seen him in a traditional number 6. So I don't know. I wanted another natural 6 who plays there. So I mean, if you want to give me the argument that it should be Laturi or Frazier, I would understand that. But I don't think we could have cut Piet for a striker. I don't think that would have made any sense. So that's just, like I said, that's just my opinion. Ike Ugbo was left off. Josh, are you thinking Cornelius, Bombito, Johnson back 3? No, I think it's going to be back 4. I think Jesse's playing the 4-2-2. Johnson will play his traditional right back. Davies will play left back, and you have Cornelius and Bombito as the two center backs. So, I don't see him changing it now. I thought it spoke volumes to how Jesse wants to coach this team when, we had a relatively okay first half against the Netherlands and then got thrashed in the second half. And then Jesse kept 10 out of the 11 players and threw Crepeau in net and stuck with what he wanted to do. And I think that's smart. He doesn't have a lot of time with this team. It's hard to rip up and then start from scratch. So I gave him respect, and we had a bit of a bounce back. But who's going to be the captain? Let me know, guys, in the comment section right now. Who do you think will be the captain for Copa America? We saw Davies wear the armband against the Netherlands, and we saw Eustachio wear it for France. If you're asking me, I would keep it with Eustachio. That's just my personal opinion, and I kind of hope that happens. but we'll see. Do you see us playing 4-3-3? I don't really. Although, like I said, like I could see Jesse playing the 4-2-3-1, and maybe like Larin drops out, and then you could see Azorio come in. We kind of saw that when that substitution happened against France, but I just don't. I don't know. I don't trust Azorio in this system that much either. I'd rather a 4-4-2, and honestly, unless Larin can find a way to deliver and fit this system, I could see Russell Rowe being a phenomenal option up top. Oh, my guy, Lopez, U20s. You think we'll keep him or he'll switch to Mexico? I don't know. I'm really excited to watch the U20s play. A lot of really talented players. Lopez, as you guys might have, if you follow me on X, I hyped him up quite a bit leading up to the last time we saw them play, and he was sensational. I hope that he's one for the future for us playing with Pumas. He's a special player, and I think he's going to do some damage. I don't know if we're going to be able to keep him. If you're looking at the Mexican Federation right now, I'd like to think that if he's playing with us at U20s, like there's a pretty realistic chance we could get him going forward, but we will see. Congrats, bud. Thank you, sir. Guess that explains why Ugbo didn't get a chance against France. Yeah, like when I was talking with Alex, we were trying, like we put out a video on One Soccer, and you're saying like why didn't Ugbo and why didn't Bear get any minutes? Is it because he wanted to see someone who's more in the bubble, like a Brim? Like we saw Tanny come off as well. He wasn't even in the camp. He got brought in. He came off the bench. We were asking like, why didn't we see Ugbo? Why didn't we see Bear? And then Ugbo was sent home. And I don't want to speculate because I don't know, and it's not fair to do that. I just know that, potentially, like attitude could have been an issue. Although I would have assumed with the form that he had ending off the season and just putting himself in a really good position, hopefully to go to another club this season that wants him, maybe signs him permanently. Like I don't know. I don't know what it is, and I can't explain it. I would have kept Ugbo for sure. Ugbo better than Russell Rowe. Josh, where do you see Ali Ahmed playing? In the 4-4-2, honestly, out wide. I could see Ahmed coming on for like a Tejan Buchanan, for example. I don't really see him fitting. I mean, maybe you could put him in the midfield, but like I said, it's not like he'd be playing as an 8. Kone and Eustachio are playing very, very defensively. They're basically 6s, and I don't know if I would ask that of Ali. I think that from where he's playing with the Whitecaps, I think playing out wide is probably his best position, and I think playing a little further up the pitch, I would put him at right mid. Let me know if you guys agree with that, but I think that if Schaffelberg's a great option to come on for Liam Miller, I think Ali Ahmed's a great player to come on for Tejan Buchanan. That's where I see him playing. Ugbo kept Wednesday up almost. Man, I agree. I can't explain it. The only thing that would make sense to me is if he was injured. But we'll go through some of the comments here. I'm going to share my Twitter. Just I want to see what people think. I was shocked. So we'll just go through some of them. So I just said like the Canadian men's national team had to cut one player for Copa America, and it's Ike Ugbo. I simply don't understand. My guy Mike says, can't you though? He hasn't really been picked to play in friendlies before the tournament. Maybe Ugbo didn't fit what Marsh wants to do. Like I said, and maybe it shouldn't be that surprising because he didn't play, but he does fit Marsh's system. He fits it a hell of a lot better than Kyle Larin does. It makes no sense. There has to be an issue beyond that. Out of those two strikers, if you look at their club careers their club seasons going into this tournament, I'm looking at a striker who's going to find the back of the net. I'm picking Ike Ugbo. And on top of that, if you look at the way that Jesse Marsh presses and plays, I mean, he's a good fit. Let's see what some guys said. Marsh likes to press. Ugbo plays both as a 9 and 10 and high intensity press with Wednesday. He should start over Larin. Larin's proved that he's not clinical enough in our recent friendlies. Marsh has my trust, but making football decisions based on this. It's a good position to play the back next year. So it doesn't look like a lot. Looks like a lot of people kind of. If Ugbo never accepts another Canada call-up, I would completely understand. Kamis's team just get treated terribly despite being one of the best. Yeah, man. It seems like a lot of you guys are agreeing with me. I'll leave some of these up there. Josh, I know you're a bit of a backer of Ugbo. I would have cut Azorio first. Marsh has a lot of strikers. Yeah, but like I would have left, like I don't know, I would have left someone like Tanny off. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But I asked you guys, who do you think should be the captain? We got Davies, Eustachio. I would go with Eustachio personally, but one of the two is fine with me. How long does Jason Russell Rowe and Bombito stay in MLS? It's a good question. I would say that those are the two players that have the most opportunity to use their seasons, but also maybe this tournament as an opportunity to move on, especially Bombito. Bombito is a very unique profile. His speed, I believe he's clocked as the fastest player in Major League Soccer right now. I love the fact, like I said, it's a big part why I think him and Cornelius will work very well together. I don't know exactly where I can see Bombito going. I think that he'll probably at least see the rest of the season out with the Rapids because this is really his first season as a full-fledged professional. I don't know. I could see maybe at the end of this season. At the end of the current MLS season, I could see that's a good opportunity for both Russell Rowe and Bombito to move on. But I think Bombito could really turn some heads in Copa America because I'm expecting him to start all 3 matches. I don't know how much minutes Russell Rowe will get. I would expect he's the striker that could push Laren now that Ugbo's not there. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's Bear. Maybe it's Tanny. Tanny seems to came out of left field. I don't really know. I don't watch MLS, but if Ahmed is so good, why is he not a starter for Vancouver? And if so, how can an MLS bench player be a good player for this team, especially given that? I think it comes down I think Ahmed's an excellent young player. I think injuries really hurt him in his ability to break in and stay in the first team with the Whitecaps. I think now that he's back healthy and once he returns from Copa America, I expect him to push to be a starter for Vancouver. He started a lot of games before the injury. As for Canada, he can play in a lot more positions than the strikers. We didn't need 6 strikers. David, Laren, now it's Baird, Russell Rowe, Tanny. Those are the 5 that are going, and then we had Ugbo. We don't need 6 strikers for this tournament. Now you have someone like Ali Ahmed coming in who can play, like I said, he can play right mid, left mid, right back, left back if you really ask him. You can ask him to maybe do a job in the midfield. Maybe it's as a 10. You take Laren out and you throw Ali in and you make it a 10 mid-game. Like, he gives you a lot of options, which is why I think he's an important player to have in this roster. And I'm excited for him. And I think a lot of Canadian fans would have been disappointed to not see him get there. Eustachio has to be captain. I hope Laren doesn't start, comes off the bench. So which striker would you guys start if it's not Kyle Laren? Because I personally think Laren will start with David. I think Jesse has a lot of respect for Kyle. I think, what he's done for the national team probably gives him a good opportunity to line up with David and start at least 2 of the 3 matches. But maybe in that second game, he does start another striker and that striker scores. I'm leaning towards Russell Rowe. I think that he fits the team. I think he's in good form. I think he's got just something special in him. Like that CONCACAF Champions Cup run was so much fun watching him, whether he came off the bench or he started games, he always produced. He's a special player, and I think he does have an opportunity to potentially go to Europe after the current campaign. And we interviewed him very recently, and he said that's what he wants. So Theo Bair too is a different profile. He could be an interesting one. I got some championship interest. Ugbo has not impressed with Canada. I'm split on that because I don't think he was ever really given a fair chance. I feel like they brought him in almost like a depth piece, used him when they felt like it off the bench. I just don't feel like he was really given like a couple games, like a run of games to really prove something. And now to miss out on a Copa America like this is just a slap in the face, I think, for him. If Laren doesn't start, it should have been Ugbo. Ugbo hasn't been a favorite at Herdman, Biello, or Marsh. Had also fell out of favor with many clubs he's been at. Maybe talent is questionable. Not great on the ball, just a poacher. I don't know about that. I think attitude. I'm leaning towards attitude instead of performance. Like, maybe the way he trains, something to do with that. Like, when he's hot, man. He was red hot for Wednesday. A lot of you guys were already commenting that, like, single-handedly saved them. I think he played a massive part in the reason they stayed up. And when he's feeling good about his game and he's scoring goals, he can be a difference maker. Maybe it's the behind-the-scenes thing. Maybe he's injured. Maybe, like, I don't know yet. I haven't been creeping around Twitter too much right now. Let's be honest. What does Ugbo actually do aside from his Instagram stories? Tanny has options elsewhere. He's a dual nat, and Ugbo doesn't. Yeah. I would have probably just. I probably would have just left off Tanny. I think that Ugbo could have offered more. I would start Theo Bear. I don't mind that. Theo Bear provides far more in terms of capabilities than Laren, and at this point, Laren played well in the France game, but the wide players didn't give him. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know. I didn't notice Kyle Laren at all over those two friendlies. I think he looked, especially in that the Netherlands match, he looked exhausted after that first half. I just don't think he's that pressing striker. Like, Jonathan David is one of the best pressing strikers in world football, and I just knew that he would be a phenomenal fit for Jesse Marsch, but he needs someone to be able to play off of him, someone to complement him, and who can also do what Jesse wants. And I'm getting the feeling 2 matches in, which is harsh because they're friendlies. Like, that's why I'm assuming Jesse's going to stick with Laren to give him a couple more chances, but it just doesn't look like it's going to be a fit. And that's where my one big worry is scoring goals. We played these 2 friendlies. We got a great result against France, but we did not score. We missed a couple big opportunities throughout both matches, so, chances could be there. But we'll see. Surprised that some are not wanting Laren to start. Poor club season. I'm surprised that some are not wanting Laren to start. A poor club season means almost nothing in tournament play. No, that's why I said I try to make that clear, is that it's not that the club season is the thing that worries me, because Kyle Laren has been having very successful club seasons and would perform for the national team, and he's also had some poor club seasons and performed for the national team. That's not what worries me. But all that time, it was under John Herdman playing a way that would get the best out of Kyle Laren. What worries me is that Jesse Marsch comes in and Laren doesn't fit the way that Jesse wants to play. On top of that, he's had a very poor season. For me, that's where the worry comes in. I'd be more confident seeing, like I said, someone like Ike Ugbo or even Jason Russell-Rowe starting alongside David, because I just think it would fit what Jesse is asking of his strikers. And yeah, and Alex, and that's it. It's not got nothing to do with the season. He had a poor season, but that wouldn't have worried me. If John was still in charge, it wouldn't worry me, because we've seen it time and time again where, Kyle isn't maybe doing that well, but it doesn't matter because he always performs for the national team. But when you change the way that they play and you ask something completely different of them, that's where the worry can potentially come in. And Alex says it too. Laren's profile just doesn't fit the system. He's never looked good in the system. And I agree. I think Ugbo would have looked good in the system. That was my argument as to why I found it very surprising that he left. I think Jason Russell-Rowe would fit the system as well. I want to make that very clear. I think Tanny would too. I think that's why Tanny kind of came out of nowhere, where he wasn't even called in, but seeing what he's been doing for Minnesota coming off the bench, which is very important, and when he starts, it didn't really matter how Tanny was going into a match. He was finding a way to impact it, and that's just the truth. So it was exciting to see him sneak his way in here. It just, unfortunately for EK, it came at his expense, so it's tough. So how do you guys think we're going to do in Copa America? Do you think we're going to be able to compete and get out of the group? Do you think we're going to get group? Do you think that we could get a favorable quarterfinal matchup? It could be in Ecuador. I think that's the toughest one of that group, but I don't know. Who do you have cut? A lot of people are asking me that. I was just saying the refusal of playing him is so annoying. He was good this year. It's the MLS Canada coach decision. Ugbo was not pleased from what I saw too. It's completely justified. He's their best outright number 9. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, what would success look like for you guys at Copa America? We got second in group. I like that. And I think that's realistic. I think that this national team has a very good opportunity to do something special. I think what we did against the Netherlands and France gave Jesse Marsch a good learning experience to see what he liked from both matches. I like that he stuck to his guns. He made a few tweaks. He got a much better result against France. I think that the starting 11 pretty much picks itself, despite my worries around Kyle Larin. He does perform for the national team, so, you know, he did get a couple chances throughout these two matches. Maybe he puts one of them away. And I think that the matchups against Peru and Chile give us a good opportunity to get into the group. And I'm excited for that. And then potentially a better quarterfinal matchup than if we were on the other side of the bracket with the States, where they'll probably end up with Brazil or Colombia, which is just super difficult. So we could be in for a big tournament, and I'm excited. I don't want to get too excited because I was excited going into the World Cup, and that was a very, very humbling experience. The Belgium match, maybe could have changed the outcome, and we were the better team. But after that, we pretty much fell off a cliff. And 2023 was just as rough. Success would be 2 wins. If we get out of that group, that would be amazing. I wouldn't say success comes from getting out of the group. For me, I just want to see them. I want to see this national team be able to compete. I don't want to see us lose all 3. I do think it's important to at least get a win. I would say for success is getting a win and competing in all 3 matches where, we show that we deserve to be here. I think not overachieving, but best case scenarios, we pick up 4 to 6 points and we make it out of the group and we go to the quarterfinals. And I think that this team can do it. It's tough. Jesse Marsch is very new to the job. It's almost in his first 3 matches was Netherlands, France, Argentina. But I don't know. This is why we hired him. It's why 3 MLS clubs came together and made sure that he was the new MLS Canadian men's national team head coach. And he showed some glimpses of some good things going forward. And I really think that he's done well in the media. I think he's done well with the players. I think they seem motivated, they seem energized, and they seem excited for this tournament. And I think that all comes from Jesse's leadership. It's early, but I think he's hit all the right notes so far. Success is not to get blown out by Argentina and get either a win or draws in the other 2 matches. And I think that's fair, Alex. And you got a thumbs up there. Same wants to score some goals. Yeah, I would like to see us score some goals. I mean, be sure we could do that in the World Cup. I'm expecting us to do that here. Although we went 2 matches without scoring goals in some bigger nations, but the Peru-Chile matches I'm just very curious to see the way that we do and how we're going to do in those matchups. I'm very, very curious. Argentina is going to be difficult, and I just want to see us compete. Don't expect to walk away with 3 points. If we get a draw, I think that would be incredible. Make it very, very likely that we'll probably get out of the group. But I don't want to get blown away either. That's not how you want to start the tournament. But Jesse's going to have his eyes open after these first 3 matches, and then he gets to go into a couple matchups that are a little bit more even, at least on paper, with Peru and Chile. And I think that there's going to be good matches. But the Spain and Croatia match is starting now, so I am going to go watch that, and I assume a lot of you guys are as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Keep an eye on the channel. We'll have previews before each Canada match. We'll have the 5 takeaways. We'll have a lot of content going over on One Soccer, and like I said, we're going to try to bring on a lot of guests. I have a lot of representation right now, a lot of good content creators and friends and guys who cover a lot of different countries throughout this tournament. I'm going to try to do as many streams as I can to get these different guests on to talk about the matches that happened last night, the matches that are to come. Obviously, talk about Canada. It should be a lot of fun. So hopefully, just keep an eye on the channel and hopefully see you guys in the live streams. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and I hope you guys are happy with the squad. I'm not as thrilled, but it is what it is. Feel bad for UK. So we'll see you guys coming up. Got a video dropping, I think, on Sunday. A little debate to see who's going to do better in the Copa America, the United States or Canada. It'll be a good one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon. Drop a like, drop a sub. Bye, friends.